Hello guys, welcome to a new video. In this video we will take a look at endless SSH or endless shell, or however you want to call it. It's a compound word between endless and SSH, so I'm not sure about the correct pronunciation. I'll call it endless SSH. So first, what we have here, we have our basic FreeBSD system, base install. The only thing set up is sudo, and we are already SSH'd into the machine. The first thing we want to do is we want to install endlessh. First of all, update the package cache, which should be fairly recent. Okay, and let's install endlessh. As you can see, it's already installed on my part because I already tested it out. But the next thing on the list, what we're going to do is we want to edit the user local etc endlessh.conf. So what do we have here? First of all, I already altered the configuration. If you open it up for the first time, everything will be commented out. Port, delay, max line length, everything will be commented out. What I'm going to do is I show you my customizations that I've done. First of all, I set the port to 22. 22 is the default port for SSHD. I set the delay, which is the default value. Max line length is default. I just uncommented it. Max clients is the default. I set the log level to 1 so that I actually see when someone connects. I can read the log file and see who connected. And I set the bind family to 4 for IP version 4. You can use it to you can set it to 0 to 6, whatever you desire. So make sure you have configured everything in this file. And a note here, you see I've set port 22. By default it ships with another, well, the user who runs endless SSH is by default nobody, but nobody is not a root user. So since that is the case, he cannot listen on port 22 because everything under 1023, you need root rights to listen to it. So I show you the tweak that I've done. First of all, we set the port to 22. Let's exit here. All right. And the next thing we're going to do is we want to enable endless SSH. To do that, we edit our rcconf, or in my case, rcconf.local, and you can see we have two variables in here. First of all, this should be pretty clear: endlessh enable, which enables the daemon or service. And this is important, the endlessh daemon user, I set it to root. The default setting is nobody. This is also what pkg displays during the installation. So keep that in mind if you want to open ports under 1023. So after we've done that, we can exit. And now we need to start the service. So we do sudo service endlessh start. In my case, it's already running. You could also do a restart if you so desire. So what have we done now? Well, we now have endlessh listening on 22. You can see it in the sockstat output here. And another tweak I show you, I set my local SSHD installation to port 2222. So to do that, you go etc ssh sshd config, and the only thing you're going to set up is the port, like this. And don't forget, after you've done that, you need to restart the SSHD service. In my case, I've already done that. So what happens now? Well, since we have endlessh running on port 22 and the real SSHD running on 2222, means that anyone connecting to the default port, which is 22, gets, well, redirected to endlessh. And what endlessh does is it is an SSH tarpit. So anyone connecting on port 22 gets, well, pretty much served an endless banner. So there's never a login. There's obviously no real SSHD running. It just wastes time. And that's great for script kiddies or attackers as a small line of defense. Keep in mind, security is a layered approach. So this is not the only thing you're gonna deploy and be happy forever. So keep that in mind. So to show you that, I have another tab open here, and this is my regular IP for the VM I'm running. And let me show you what happens when we now connect to port 22. So as you can see, I just have SSH and the IP here. So the default port would be 22. And this will stay forever. There's nothing happening here, no login prompt, no nothing, since endlessh is not an SSH daemon. It is basically, like I said, just an SSH tarpit. But if we specify our altered port number for the real SSHD, we get, well, a valid connection. So anytime someone wants to hit your machine, your server, whatever you have, might be a desktop machine, and it connects. Let me switch over to the tab, and now let's have a look at our log file, since endlessh also writes a log. And what you can see here is we have a connection here. This is me, little old me, 23150. That's my desktop machine, and the port, and you can see it logs every attempt you make. It also logs the close, and the accept is basically it takes the connection and it serves an endless SSH. It serves an endless banner. So this is basically the operation of endlessh. And if we disconnect and open the log again, we can see we have our entries here. We can do it one more time. Let's connect, and we have another accept here. So this is basically how endlessh functions. It's a nice way to waste time of script kiddies or bots, but keep in mind, security, as I said, is a multi-layered approach. Don't use this as your only defense. So I hope this video was helpful, and have a good day, guys.